3, 2, 1.
Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
Hello to those of you who are feeling called to this reading, in particular, Mystery Reading number 973. My name is Elizabeth, and before getting into this reading, if you are a recurring viewer and you enjoy my work and would like to help support it, you can do so by hitting that subscribe button down below and sticking around. I said that a little bit backwards, but if you do feel called to subscribe and stick around, welcome, and thank you very much for your support as well as your presence during this reading. And I'm already really feeling that this reading is meant for somebody because I'm feeling very connected. I can already feel that this reading is probably going to feel very guided. So if you feel called to this reading in particular, as I say, you might be feeling that for a real reason. I first want to mention that I am listening to a root chakra meditation. For somebody, a throat chakra meditation might be significant, but the root chakra, for me, it's about stability and peace, a feeling of safety and security, whether it's feeling safe and secure in who you are, in your truth, or feeling safe and secure in your environment, or both. I think to create an environment that feels safe and secure, it's really important and it's essential that you feel safe and secure in who you are. So it may be important or significant for somebody to find confidence in themselves and to really understand themselves. So you really understand where you're meant to be in life and also the kind of people that deserve to have a place in your life. I feel that no clarity about who you are is no clarity about what you actually deserve. And really thinking about your throat chakra, it makes me think that it also makes it hard to communicate, to stand up for yourself, because what do you say if you don't know what you deserve when you're trying to get what you deserve, you know? Using your voice or communicating could be really significant for somebody. I'm seeing the number 333, so if you're seeing that number, could be confirmation for you, or if there's a different meaning for you, could be confirmation of whatever that meaning is. Maybe if you are unfamiliar with numbers and like communicating with the universe with them, maybe they want you to pay attention to that number in particular. As we're 3 minutes into recording this first section or segment or whatever you want to call it of this video, I'm also feeling that whoever is watching this, you may be struggling with sleep. And this is more so for people who are aligning with me because we kind of get each other, you know, because I struggle with sleep myself sometimes. In fact, I've only gotten 4.5 hours of sleep last night. And as someone who has been learning or really understanding about myself, that I really need to figure out how to convince myself to relax or to go to sleep. This could just be, you know, just to let you know that if you're struggling with the same thing, you're not alone. But I do believe there is a way out. There is an answer. There is a way to convince myself and to convince yourself to rest more and to really take care of yourself. Maybe there's something here that you're feeling antsy about or really impatient about, and it could be important for you to address how you're dealing with this impatience and making sure that it's not affecting you and your health and your sleep negatively. Getting into the numbers now. That was a lot of talking about, if you've been around, you know that sometimes I have some things to say in the beginning before I get into the numbers. It's usually not that long. But the number 973. The number 9 is about purpose and helping the world release what no longer works. The number 7 is about wisdom and expanding your consciousness and your awareness. And the number 3, which I hadn't even realized, really, genuinely, that number is about communication and self-expression, healing and growing, maybe even investing in something over a long period of time, depending on who's watching this. Only take what resonates, as always. With purpose and helping the world release what no longer works, especially with my eye itching right now, making me think of your third eye chakra and your intuition. Maybe your intuition knows that you are aware of some sense of purpose that you feel spiritually. Or even, maybe it doesn't have to necessarily be spiritual, just generally. I feel like your intuition, whether you're consciously aware or not, or if it's still in your subconscious, there is purpose here. And there is deeper meaning, especially with the number 7. I feel like there's an opportunity here to really explore deep within yourself. Not only to tap into that sense of purpose, but to also tap into wisdom, to what you already know about yourself, the world, other people. Maybe there's an opportunity here as well to expand what you already know through being more introspective. And I'm thinking of the word soul-searching for Italian, which I think is introspezione. Not 100% sure about that, but if you've been around, you know that whenever I am connected with Italian words that come through, that's because my ancestors have a message from your ancestors for me to pass on to you. And I feel, because of that word soul-searching coming through in Italian, your ancestors are encouraging you to do some soul-searching. To really look within yourself for the answers that you need, because you have everything that you need to know within you. You can trust yourself, and you can believe in yourself, and you deserve to give yourself permission to trust and believe in yourself. Someone here could feel really called to work with tarot cards, and this is confirmation of that. And I'm being reminded how the Italian word for tarot is actually tarocchi, which I learned that originally, I think like around the medieval times, tarot cards were a card game. Maybe someone here is hesitant who's Christian and believes in the Bible and everything, or you're hesitant to use tarot cards, and this is kind of okay from the universe, like it's okay if you want to use tarot cards. But originally, yeah, it was a card game, and then eventually it evolved, I think around the 18th century, or I think the 1700s, into more spiritual interpretations of the cards. So just some history, I guess, that may be helpful for somebody. I was talking to someone just yesterday, I think, about how they don't believe, like in the biblical sense, that tarot cards are evil as they're portrayed sometimes. So maybe somebody who is religious and believes in the Bible may be helpful for you to hear that. And I honestly think that if tarot cards were truly, is it really an evil to look for meaning in cards? You know, it's really, it's not about the cards, it's about your intuition, because ultimately interpreting tarot cards is about your intuition. For anybody who might find that helpful to know. That 3 there is just more confirmation for anybody who feels called to express themselves, to use their voice, to be more authentic, and to heal and to grow, to have more of that authenticity in your life that you deserve, that will attract more authentic relationships and opportunities. Manifestation really does start from within. However you feel about yourself, however you speak to yourself, whatever you do for yourself, you're going to attract people and opportunities that feel, do, and say the same things. So be mindful of your inner dialogue. You know, make sure it's not too negative or too harsh, or you'll attract those type of people or feelings. Just be very mindful of how you treat yourself, because you deserve to trust yourself and you deserve to believe in your strength as a human being. I personally believe that humans are very strong and resilient when you think about it like in an isolated sense. I feel like our biggest weakness is ourselves, like how we treat ourselves, how we speak to ourselves. So just make sure you're very independent in your thinking, your feelings, your beliefs. Let yourself be independent and maybe even detached in some way. This is getting kind of vague, so only take what resonates for you. I'm going to go ahead and add up these numbers now. 9 plus 7 is 16 and 16. Plus 3 is 19. 1 plus 9 is 10. There's 2 messages here, usually, with the number 10 for me. The first one is a reminder, or in this case, confirmation, that your ancestors, or your spirit guides rather, are present. But in particular, your ancestors feel very present for this reading. So you could have something coming up related to childhood, your home life, your job, anything to do with your sense of safety, your sense of security, your root chakra. And I want to say even your throat chakra, learning how to use your voice, because I believe that we are meant to learn how to do that at a young age. But this world is not perfect, and we grow older and we end up having to teach ourselves, but you can be the difference, be the change that you wish to see to help create future generations that have a childhood that not only they deserve, but also that you always deserved to. The other message, the number 10, 1 plus 0, is still 1, of course, and that number is about trusting yourself. So that, especially with the number 9 with purpose, there is something that you really genuinely feel about yourself and why you're here and what you should be doing, and I just feel like you can really, really trust whatever that feeling is. Okay, so I am going to move into the cards portion of this reading now. I'm going to start off with drawing out one card from these index cards. Let's see what wants to come through first. Oh, not that one. This one. Yeah. Number 555 could be significant for somebody. This card says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the finest of them all?" Interesting. This energy feels very mystical in a way. I feel some magic in this energy, which really makes sense when we're talking about manifestation and thinking about the Magician card in tarot. I really think that this mirror, mirror on the wall, there's 2 messages here. The first one is to take a good, hard look at yourself in the mirror and be honest about not only your strengths, but also your weaknesses. Just being really honest, even if it's brutal, about who you truly are. Not to be mean to yourself or to beat yourself down, but just to acknowledge any problems, any unhealthy habits that need to be addressed. Really give yourself some grace. Let yourself be human and imperfect, so that way you can acknowledge that imperfection. And you can really see what imperfections how do I put this? I guess what imperfections can be improved. Just let yourself make mistakes, let yourself be wrong. It's okay, it's not the end of the world. And I'm actually thinking about this card that I have in these box of cards that I'm going to use for this reading, or one of the boxes, it doesn't really matter. But it does have the number 3 on it, and it literally says it's not the end of the world. So I do think that this reading could be here for someone to really remind you to not be so hard on yourself and so mean to yourself, and don't just look at yourself as just a mess. I mean, to be frank, we're all kind of a mess because the world is a mess, but you're more than just weakness, and being wrong. You know, there are things that you do know that you are right about, that you are strong, you know, when it comes to certain things, and that's okay. I personally believe that where I have weaknesses is an opportunity for someone with that strength in that same area to shine. So what strengths do you have that you can honor and use to your advantage? And if you have any weaknesses that you want to improve, what can you do to do that? Who do you want to be is what I feel this mirror, mirror on the wall is all about. Who are you now? Who do you want to be? And what can you do to get there? Well, no. Who are you now? Who do you want to be? What parts about yourself can you not change and need to accept? And then how do you get to who you want to be? I hope I said that right. I feel like I might have got a little mixed up in my words. But there's also a warning here about your ego. It's always good to be proud of yourself, to be, to feel good about yourself. Just make sure you don't get carried away with it if you're in a particularly tricky situation, I'll say, because getting caught up in your ego can have some really bad consequences that you don't deserve. Now I'm going to draw out one playing card from these playing cards here. They're just regular playing cards, but of course some other brand is on the back of the cards. I've never used these cards, at least not in a really, 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 really long time for a reading, and I just felt called to use them. So the card that I have is the Two of Spades, and it says Middleman. Interesting. Let's go ahead and draw out a card from these box of cards to go on the other side. I did see the number 654, which is a sign to trust that everything happens for a reason. The card that I pulled is the Sun card. Looks like we have 3 tally marks up there. It says divine inspiration, connection, synchronicities, encouragement to keep going. The energy and inspiration you're feeling is a result of connecting with the divine. You're in a high state of presence. Keep following what inspires and energizes you. I really feel like wherever the light you are sensing is coming from, pay attention to it. The symbolism of a lighthouse might be important to you. This middleman card really makes me feel like when it comes to your ego and your intuition, how can you meet yourself in the middle? Really, it's like a balance between ego and intuition. That's really, really what looking yourself in the mirror, metaphorically or literally, depending on what your practices are, it feels like it's really about finding a balance between appreciating yourself, but also being real with yourself. I feel like that is a healthy form of self-love. Appreciating your strengths and being honest with yourself about your weaknesses. It really feels like somebody here is trying to heal, and the best thing you can do for yourself right now is just be kind, and like I already said before, let yourself be imperfect, maybe even let yourself be impatient, but make sure you're making healthy decisions and you're moving forward in a healthy way. And again, I really just want to say, let yourself be imperfect. Let yourself be weak sometimes. You can't be strong all the time. Nobody can. Believe in your light, and believe in the light that you're sensing from your future.